Hey YouTube, welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video. So I have run out of ideas. I have no other videos I'm ever going to make again, so I decided to do a DVD killer churros. I can't even make that joke. No, so I asked my people on Discord. By the way, the link for that is below. You should totally join. I asked them if they wanted me to do a video on my thoughts on a killer tier list. Because I'm not the biggest fan of doing this kind of stuff, but whatever. I said, fuck it, I'll do it, right? So, a few things before we get into this fully. Some of these killers I'm not the most proficient at or know the most about. I think our podcast series has shown that, especially with killers such as Skull Merchant. So, that needs to be taken into account. 2, I am judging them as if they are bringing their best stuff. I know most people don't do that, however, I don't think it's realistic. Because if we're judging them based purely on their base kit design, how often are you ever actually going against that? Like Myers is probably a good example. Myers, I would probably put in D tier if we were just talking about base kit flat Myers. However, because of Tombstone and Infinite tier 3, I'm probably going to put him a little higher up. So that needs to be taken into account. Perks, I probably won't touch on because, in my mind, if every killer is basically bringing the same, quote, best build, so it evens out anyways, so I think we're fine on that front. There's a couple exceptions, but for the most part, yeah. And, you know, we're not going to bring maps into the equation either, because if we really want to be petty, even the simple map isn't the simple map, right? Also, ignore the ads you see completely everywhere, because I'm not paying for this website. Anyway, guys, let's get started. Trapper. Alright. Trapper, in my opinion, is C tier. I'm sorry, D tier. So, Trapper is probably... He's probably going to be the only one in D tier, and in my opinion, is the worst killer in the game. The only thing he has over Myers, in my opinion, is that Myers can actually lose his power without certain add-ons, obviously. But the fact that someone can follow you around, get rid of your traps, and there's basically nothing you can really do about it. It is a few add-ons that do help him out in that case, but even then, someone has to be at the bottom, and it's Trapper. Considering he is the face of the game, I don't think that should be the case, but it is. His power is really easy to play around, and 9 times out of 10, if he's doing well against really, really good survivors, it is because one of them fucked up. I think Trapper has a few inherent design flaws, and I think that's one of them, is he's a killer that is designed around the survivor messing up, no matter what he's bringing. Once again, there are a few add-ons that help him out, but yeah. At the end of the day, without traps too, you're just an M1 Andy, so. Wraith. I think Wraith's B tier. I really do think Wraith is one of those, and we'll get into a lot of these. Wraith is one of those straight up middle of the pack killers that I feel like he doesn't do anything too super well, doesn't do anything too super bad. He's right there in the middle pack. There's some skill expression. He has map mobility. He has info. He's M1, so he's very malleable builds. So Wraith, I feel like is right there, just in the middle for me. Billy. So this is after the changes, and this is current like curving, like solid curving Billy. To me, that's A tier. I don't think he's S tier, and the reason why is because there are still some maps that completely screw him over. There are still some loops that completely screw him over. And the fact that he's basically forced to bring certain things like Bamboozle in order to get value on certain loops and maps, I think puts him down. I think the thing that separates him, as some people would call him S most likely, is how good the player is at them. And even then, like, there's only so much skill can do with him. Nurse is S tier. I don't even... Do I even have to explain why Nurse is S tier at this point? If you've been playing Dead by Daylight for any amount of time, do I have to explain it? Like, She fundamentally does not play the game. Pallets doesn't care about. Verticality doesn't care about. Walls doesn't care about. And like, I know people say, oh, she's hard to play. That's debatable. I would say she's hard to learn. But once you get the hang of it, she's pretty decent. Okay. It's not to discredit anyone who's super good at Nurse, mind you, but Esther. A killer that completely ignores everything in the game, that's Esther to me. So Myers is going to be the weird one. I'm actually going to put him at C tier, even with his add-ons. The reason why is because even with his infinite tier 3s and his tombstone piece and all of this stuff, 9 times out of 10, he's probably only going to get a kill, maybe 2, before everyone leaves. Even if he's bringing like a super gen slowdown and block build. He's just not good enough. Like, he doesn't have map mobility. His power can't be necessarily countered, but if he doesn't bring the right add-ons, it can basically be drained completely. He's the only killer in the game that can lose his power. Let that sink in for a minute. And I think he's in desperate need of a rework, but because of his add-ons, he's C tier. Because, I mean, you bring Tombstone Piece and get that 1 kill, you still got 1 kill. Hag. I'm gonna get some hate for this. I think Hag is actually above Billy. I think, especially with the changes they just did, I think Hag is above Billy. She has map mobility, in a sense. She has so many different ways to play her. She can snowball very well. She can camp a hook without being there. She makes every loop a 50-50 mind game if she places her trap correctly. There's so much Hag can do. She has constant info, and the counterplay to her is to activate her trap and hope she doesn't come for you. So, like, yeah. The one downside she has is she's pretty perk reliant, but I would still put her at A tier. And I think that fits her just fine. Doctor. I think Doctor's right below Wraith. B tier. The problem with Doctor. Let's talk about the good. Doctor has incredible tracking abilities, which is great, especially for new players. Amazing. And his power is very anti-loop. Great! Super amazing. The problem with his power, even after the buffs are doing, is it's basically a case of I will eventually get you, not that I got you. Doctor, in theory, can win pretty much every loop in the game because of shock therapy. It's just going to take him some time, and that's the problem with him. The side effects of Madness are great as a passive slowdown, so I would, put him B. But just to clarify here, B is basically middle of the road. A is like a little bit better than that, and S is just godly. Like, nothing touches this killer. C is slightly less than average, and then D is... Please help. Please help. Huntress. I think Huntress is low A. I'd like to get some controversy on that one, too. With the changes, and with the changes, she's probably high A, but I'm going to pretend the changes aren't real because I don't want them to be. So, I'm just going to put her in low A. She has massive map presence. If you get good with her, she wins most loops. She can zone if she needs to. She can slug if she needs to. A lot of her add-ons accentuate the power, not necessarily make it overpowered, with one exception. Yeah, I just think Huntress is just a very well-designed killer. I think most people would agree with that. And she's, very simple, which helps a lot with a lot of things. But yeah, hooray. Bubba. Probably top of B. I might get some hate for making him better than Wraith, but Bubba is very simplistic. But he can win a lot of loops, and he can force a lot of pallets. He's very good at snowballing. He's very good at taking down very, very specific people at the very right times. He's decent at proxy camping. And most of his add-ons help him with that. So yeah, I think Bubba's just one of those middle-of-the-road killers I can't really say much about. Freddy. Alright, well, based on the stats we have, he's S tier. I'm kidding. Freddy's probably above Myers, if I'm honest. He's an anti-loop killer, but his dream palettes are also a thing, which, honestly, I don't care what Odd Starvis is. I think their dream palettes are more useful than the snares. I think I get more hits because of the palettes and the snares in most loops, if I'm honest with you. I think you can say that's because it's bad survivors or whatever. Listen, even good survivors will fall for it. You'd be surprised. But yeah, I mean, you know, Freddy's got built-in obliviousness, I guess. He's got a built-in slowdown mechanic, kind of. And, you know, he's just John Finger Knives, but he still has a power, at least. But yeah, I would, yeah, Freddy's C tier. Also, they are changing Freddy's add-ons, apparently, on the PTB. I didn't know about this till, like, yesterday. That's a thing. Freddy Mange rejoice. All two of you are fucking clapping, I'm sure. Pig. Pig's low A. Pig is low A for me after the changes. I have seen some Pig players playing her on PTB, and oh my god, she is so good. She is not so good that she wins every loop by just existing, like some people are saying. But yeah, she's good. She's good. She's good. She's good. She's good. The new ambush is very, very strong. I know some people are upset about the bear trap thing, but to me and most of the people I've talked to, it's whatever. I don't care. Clown. Honestly, with the buffs, I think I'd put him low A too, right under Pig. I'm biased with Clown because I used to main the man, and I, you know what he's capable of if you do it correctly. And with the bottle changes, which behavior, you better make sure Pinky Finger doesn't come to live like it is on PTB, please. With the bottle changes, I think he's great now. He has enough map ability and enough anti-loop and slowdown to make him just decent. He wins most loops if you know where to place your bottles correctly. There's not very many he can't win. Aaron has done a 130-page guide on Clown for a reason. There's just a lot of loops that if you place the bottles in very specific locations, you're guaranteed a hit. Combining that with some of his better add-ons, and it's not just Pinky Finger. Cigar Box, in my opinion, is one of the best add-ons in the game that no one uses. Constant aura reading is insane. Now, Distortion completely counters it, regardless. Spirit. So, I have not really seen or played Spirit a lot over the past year or so. So this is going to be mostly sentiment from the community, and I think Spirit's S tier still. While the audio changes were nice, from what I understand, it still basically comes down to a 50-50 mind game. She's still very fast. She's still very mobile. Her add-ons still do a lot to help her with both of those things. And every time they introduce new perks, a lot of them work very well with her. So, yeah. That's where I put Spirit. Legion! Okay, so here's where counting the add-ons is going to make this very difficult. I'm putting them in high C. Now, only reason they're in high C is because Never Sleep Pills is a thing. And even then, Never Sleep Pills is necessarily not winning you the match. So, I think they're high C. At the end of the day, all Legion can really do is injure you, and then they're an M1 killer, and nothing more. Now, unlike Trapper, they can't lose their power. So, I'm sorry, unlike Myers, they can't lose their power. But injuring you isn't necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It just depends on the map, depends on the survivors in particular, what items they bring, etc., etc., and their mindset. Survivors, I think Legion is one of those cases of if the people you're playing against don't know what they're doing, they become so much stronger than they should be. You could argue that for any killer, but I think Legion is a perfect example of that. I mean, if survivors are healing against you, then they're just doing your job for you, basically. Plague. A tier. I'd actually... Yeah, probably right above Huntress. I think Plague is very overlooked when it comes to which killers are good in the game. um, Plague has a snowball mechanic. Completely means the survivors can't heal. Is a ranged killer. Like the amount of stuff, the amount of things you can do with her power is insane. She also gets information and is very good at 3-genning without actually kicking the gens. I really hope that doesn't start becoming a thing. But Plague is one of those ones where I feel like once you invest the time into her, you can become a menace in this game. And no one ever expects it because you're Plague. She still has some issues, and she is kind of add-on reliant because the apples are way too good. But overall, like I think Plague is well designed enough to not be oppressive with it though. But once again, she's not played very often, so a lot of people don't even consider her in A tier. So yeah. Ghostface. Probably, yeah, mid B. Ghostface suffers from lack of map mobility and lack of innate info in his kit. Even with add-ons, he's, at the end of the day, just an M1 killer who can down you instantly if played correctly. But because of how meticulous you have to be sometimes with Ghostface, it can really slow the pace of the game down so much that it hurts him. A lot of times you have to take an M1 hit when you should have waited for the Night Shroud, and vice versa. And it can be very, very, very annoying. The thing that saves him is mostly because certain maps make his job easier. But at the end of the day, being able to instant down somebody will, I'm pretty sure, is just cause to be in B tier. Now, me saying that, why is Myers so low? Once again, it's because without a couple add-ons, Myers can literally lose his entire power. Yeah. Propaganda. Demogorgon, right in the middle of B. I think Demogorgon is, I mean, this has been said for years. Demogorgon's right in the middle of B. There's just, yeah, just right in the middle of B. I don't know how to explain this anymore. They're like that middle of the pack killer. They just are. They have zoning. They have map mobility. They have kind of inbuilt slowdown. Like they're a puppy. Like they have everything. Even with some add-ons, there's really no add-ons on Demogorgon I would say make them super S tier either. So yeah, it's probably middle of the road for them. Oni! Right behind Huntress, or right above Huntress, right behind Plague. Oni, especially with a couple add-ons, given the right situation, can be insane to play against. And there is basically nothing the survivors can do. He does have to get to that situation, so there is that. But overall, I think as a full package, Oni is a very A tier killer. Even at his weakest, I would put him at mid B. Honestly speaking. Slinger. Some people are gonna hate me for this. Honestly, top of B. I think Slinger is a B tier killer. At the end of the day, he is an M10 or he's a 110 movement speed killer who is ranged, but can't always guarantee hits. Is very slow, and especially with the save the best for last changes on him, not that great. None of his add-ons even really make him super powerful either. So I would put him at top of B tier, honestly speaking. Don't get me wrong, I've seen some good Deathslingers, but you know, top of B I think makes sense. Damn, there's a lot of killers in this game. We're not even halfway through. Pyramid Head. This one's tough. Probably right above Death Slinger. If you're good with Pyramid Head, like, you can win most loops. And the fact that he has the innate abilities to tunnel the plate correctly makes him just immediately better. But yeah, I would put him B. Mostly because his attack can be very telegraphed and very hard to land. His zoning potential is very big, though, so I will give him that. On top of that, a lot of his add-ons, other than the range ones, no one's really running them. However, he does have a new one, apparently, on the PCB, where he can add Mangled and Hemorrhage with his M2, like I said. That's cool. Blight, Esther. Same thing with Nurse. Do I even have to explain this one? It's fucking Blight. Even with the nerf. Even with the nerf. I say that like it wasn't a nerf. Yeah, Esther. Legitimately Esther. I think, yeah. I think Blight is right there in Esther. Wins. B tier. Probably B tier. Twins are an interesting group. You know what? No, I'm putting them bottom of A. But you know what? No, I'm gonna put them, yeah, right there with Huntress. Yeah, if you get good with twins, like, you could basically be two places at once. It's insane. The amount of pressure they can apply. They're the best slugging killer in the game for a reason. It's like, for real. They have some problems with certain perks basically screwing them over, but overall, it's just a good killer. Buggy as hell, but a good killer. Trickster. This one's tough. And I'll get into why it's tough in a second. Probably top of C. So I know Trickster mains and people who play against him will be like, well, he downs me so easy. He does, but he still has like no map presence anywhere else. And I think it's the big thing with Trickster is, like, where else are like, where else are you gonna get value from other than like very specific loops? And none of his add-ons are like super impressive either. It's, yeah, he's annoying to play against. Don't get me wrong, he will always win the 1v1. Not so much the 1v3s. So yeah, or I'm sorry, the 1v4s. So yeah, C tier. Nemesis. Okay, so the thing with Nemesis, so we have to think about the zombies. If the zombies are always doing what they should be doing and always getting downs, I think he's bottom B. If they aren't, I think he's top C. So I'm going to be nice and put him bottom B. Maybe I am just too nice. Yeah, I think he's bottom B. The tail is... the whip can be dodged, and he has innate slowdown and all this stuff. The whip, tier 3 also, you basically become unstoppable at that point if you know what you're doing. The zombies can be oppressive, sometimes they're not, but more often than not, I've noticed they're at least doing something. You can break pallets to keep moving. Like, there's a lot. The only problem Nemesis really has is that build-up period, and I think that's what lines him at bottom of B, in my opinion. In fact, you know what? I'm going to be very nice to Nemi. I'm going to put him above Ghostface. Pinhead. Probably right behind Huntress. Probably right behind Huntress, right above Twins. I think Pinhead's innate slowdown and his ability to win most loops if he aims the chain correctly make him very, very impressive, especially in solo queue, and that alone brings him up. And he also has a few add-ons that make him ridiculously insane to go up against. Yeah. Artist. I'm gonna put her above Plague. People are gonna hate me for that. I'm gonna put Artist above Plague. I think Artist is really, much like Plague, it's very underlooked. She can win pretty much most loops. She can apply pressure all around the map from basically anywhere. And she's the only killer in the game I can consistently chase 3 people with at the same time. Also, her add-ons, especially a lot of her add-ons, completely change how she plays in the sense of how you're using your birds. Sadako. I haven't really seen the new Sadako other than playing her, and she feels a lot better to play. I don't know about play against. I think I'll put her right above Ghostface. I'm gonna get so much hate for this. Yeah, I'll put her right above Ghostface. I think she's decent slowdown, doesn't have a very good chase power. She can do some pretty cool mind games though. Condemn kills are great, all that stuff. Yeah. Dredge. Top of C. So here's the thing with Dredge. I love Dredge. I have played Dredge probably more than my current main Chucky. Dredge sucks. Nightfall's great, and the Remnant can be good. But the Remnant is literally a 50-50 every time. You have to guess what they're doing, and they have to guess what you're doing every single time. There's almost no guaranteed hits with it. On top of that, if they are paying attention, the moment they see you plop down the Remnant, they should just be leaving the loop anyways. And now you don't have half your power. Oh, what if you just teleport to lockers? Well, if they're looking back and see you teleport, well, they're just going to run back towards you. So, what did that accomplish other than wasting like 10 seconds of everybody's time? Yeah, I think Dredge honestly needs some help. I don't know what they could do to him. A few add-ons bring him up, honestly, from being the bottom of C, like right above Myers, in my opinion. But yeah, Dredge needs some help. Wesker. Top A. Wesker is, in my opinion, one of the most well-designed killers in the game. One of. Notice I didn't say, because I made a video yesterday, it was Oni and Pinhead. I will not let that contradict this. This isn't about the best design. This is about, like, a killer that's very, very strong, right? He has a lot of add-ons that completely change the game. There's a lot of Wesker text that makes certain loops almost unplayable for survivors. Map mobility, information. Wesker has everything a killer could possibly need. The only difference is, unlike Nurse, he has to still pretend that there's walls there. So, there's that. Night. Opposite. As annoying as Night is, I really do think he's not that good. He can get downs very fast, and he can hold a 3-gen very well. But he can't do much more than that. He doesn't have the map mobility he needs. He isn't synergized with a lot of perks because of how his power works. He has an add-on that's basically required, Map of the Realm. So his add-on selection is very limited to a degree. Yeah, he's definitely, I'd say he's top of C's here. Skull Merchant. I'm gonna get some hate for this one too. I'm putting Skull Merchant above Pig. Once again, I'm only saying this because I've seen good players play Skull Merchant, and my god, can they be oppressive. All of the stat boosts and the debuffs and very specific things you can do with her make her a nightmare to go against. And a lot of her add-ons can completely change how she is, and you don't know what you're doing counterplay-wise. It's kind of nuts. I really do. I do understand why people hate this killer, but she is very good in the right hands. Singularity. Larry is one of those. I'm going to put him top of B. There is a Larry main watching this who is very upset that I put him here. Larry. Singularity is my second most played killer, for those who don't know. I put a lot of time into this killer. I have played with Soma Photo. I have played with all of his add-ons. I have played with all the perk builds. He's probably the second most malleable, or he's probably the most malleable killer in the game, the more I think about it, as far as build variety goes. That being said, he struggles on a few maps, particularly Larry's, and EMPs at the right time basically make your power null and void. Now, you can just kind of reset it back on, but yeah, terrain can mess you up with that. On top of that, he's a very setup-like killer, and it takes him time to get going a lot of the times. I feel he's very snowball dependent. And snowball dependency is never a good thing. Once again, Plague and Oni are snowball killers as well, but they're not dependent on the slowdown. It just, they can snowball. But yeah, I think Larry's right here in B tier. Personally, I might be tempted to move him up to A, but yeah, I'm just going with B for now. In fact, I'm probably going to move Clown down to B too, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, because I really do think Clown is worse than Larry. Yeah. Xenomorph. Probably... Yeah, really right there. Xenomorph is probably... They're just better demo. I don't like making that comparison, but they're just better demo in the end, I feel. Ignores pallets. There's a lot of really, really cool loops you can do with the tail attack. No real inbuilt slowdown, but the turrets do kind of cause the survivors to have to go out of their way to do something. And I apologize for that. So yeah, there's that. Map mobility and information as well with the footsteps. Once again, same thing with Wesker. It's like they have some of the best stuff. You know, they're very good at what they do. Chucky, it's my main. Everybody, it's the I'm top of S. No, right below Xeno, if I'm honest. I know some people put Chucky very, very high on these lists. Now, Chucky has some problems. In fact, I'm probably going to switch these around. Billy is probably right there. I think Skull Immersion's fine. Plague, Oni, Huntress. Yeah. Yeah, I would put Chucky right behind, and I would, yeah, right above Pinhead. Yeah, honestly speaking, that's it right there for Chucky. Like, Scamper Brain is a thing, and you can get a lot of good hits with Scamper. Chucky suffers from a few things. Particularly, he is a 110 killer, whose only way to compensate for that is a dash that he can miss. And personally, I think that means that a lot of times he doesn't... He suffers on bigger maps. He cannot get around them. Because he also has a very long cooldown on his power. So I would, yeah, I'd put him in A tier. Like I said, just middle and A tier. I think it works. I know someone's going to say, oh no, he's actually one of the best killers in the game. Put him in S tier. I really don't think that. It's like I don't think Wesker is either. The Unknown, the newest killer to the roster. This is tough, because we didn't play him long enough to really know. But I have seen other people's sentiment. I think I'm going to play it safe and put him top of B. We really don't know. I have seen some really cool hits people have been getting. And the fact that he has map mobility definitely helps. But yeah, I feel he's right there at the bottom of B. In my opinion. Yeah. Or, I'm sorry, the top of B. He doesn't really have too many good add-ons and, you know, perks and whatever what we haven't really seen. But there's not really much we can say until he's officially out. We've seen some cool stuff you can do, but we don't know if he's going to change it all. You know, there's still some things I want changed on him, but yeah. Alright, everybody. Thanks for listening to my ramblings of a killer tier list. Tell me what you guys think. I'm looking this over right now to make sure if there's anything I want to change. Honestly, not really. I'm kind of half tempted to put Myers in D tier. But Tombstone, like shoots him up, I feel. You know what? Yeah, I think we're gonna put Freddy and Myers in D tier. Honestly speaking. Yeah. What I am noticing with this list is I don't know if I'm just too nice or whatever or what, but that's a lot of killers not at the very bottom of the list. Like, honestly speaking. The more I think about it, the more I realize how, like, the killers are decently balanced, and I think some people are just a little harsh and whatever. Hey guys, I'm gonna upload this now. Like and sub and all that stuff. I can't wait to get yelled at in my comment section. Anyway guys, love you guys. Have a good one, and bye.